Hi there, welcome to Lordric's Room. My name is Lordric. People will say that there's no one way to get into a top school. Well, they're wrong. And I'm here to reveal all the secrets to you guys. And so today we'll be looking at around 7 or so extracurricular activities that will guarantee that you get into any school. Obviously, you don't need to do every single activity on this list because that's kinda impossible to do unless you have access to a hyperbolic time chamber or something. But for everyone else, the more of these that you have, the better off your application will be, obviously. So let's go and take a look at these essential extracurricular activities. Alright, so first up we have sports. This is our first item on the list because I'd say that it's one of the most common activities a student is going to have, but it's still important to have here because it's still 100% necessary to have on your college resumes. And it honestly doesn't even really matter what that sport is as long as you've got some kind of physical activity on your applications. Basketball, football, baseball, bobsledding, chess boxing. Admissions officers don't really discriminate between the different types of sports because they're all basically the same anyway. And ideally, you'll want to be a captain or have some other kind of notable position in whatever sport you play because saying that you're just a member isn't really super impressive. So you might as well not even be playing at that point, you know? And if you can get recruited for your sport, obviously that's even better because that's a guaranteed spot right there. This is a tiny bit harder because of the steep competition for getting recruited, and if you play a sport that is not as popular such as kabaddi or bog snorkeling, most schools don't have varsity teams for those that you can get recruited for yet. So at the very least, you'll want to perform at the highest level within your school or area. And of course, the reason you need to have a sport on your resume is because you want to show admissions officers that you're more than just academics. Because if you don't have any sports, you're just a nerd. So make sure to play a sport so that you don't look like a nerd. Okay, next on the list is to compete in some kind of competition. This is more geared towards non-sports activities because sports are inherently competitive to begin with. And here you're looking to enter some of the more well-known non-sports related competitions. Think things like ISEF, IMO, SciOlly, and things of that nature. Obviously, the bigger the competition, the more prestigious it's going to be. So you should try to compete at national or international level competitions at the very least. And getting a couple gold medals at those competitions should put you in a good place. And if you can only get bronze or silver, that's also okay, but you should be getting first place if you want to look good to admissions officers. I know that there are also national and international competitions for instruments, but I don't play an instrument myself, so I'm not super sure how those work. But if you play the piano or the violin or some other instrument, you should enter these and win to show that you're actually good at them. Because if you don't place at these competitions, admissions officers won't really be able to tell if you're actually any good. So you should try to get some solid evidence to back up your skills. Moving along, we have starting some kind of business or nonprofit. Although these types of organizations are pretty different from one another in terms of their goals, they are pretty similar in their structure, so I just grouped them together. Starting a business or nonprofit is a really great way to show admissions officers that you have initiative and that you're already able to make substantial impact at such a young age. The kind of business or nonprofit you start, again, doesn't really matter because there are basically an unlimited number of ways you could go about that. But whatever you decide to sell or do, the important part for your college resume is to show how much impact you've had. So if you're a business, you should try to make as much money as possible. And if you're a nonprofit, you should try to give away as much stuff as possible, whether that be in money or actual goods or services or whatever. You should also try to get designated as a 501c3 as quick as possible if you're a nonprofit to show that you're legit. And if you're a business, you should incorporate and hold an initial public offering as soon as possible for the same reasons. I know that you might be hesitant to go this route because these kinds of things are a pretty big commitment, but honestly, after you get accepted into a college, you don't really need to do them anymore. So at most, it's really only a commitment for a year or two, which I would say is pretty doable. Next, number 4 on this list, we have starting a gaming YouTube channel. Now, this may seem like a bit random and not something that you would need to get into a college, but trust me, this is essential. You might be saying to yourself, well, I don't know any college students at top schools that are gaming YouTubers. And to that, I say, do you know what Dream's identity is? And also, do you even know what a VTuber is? For all the other activities, like the sport you play or the type of business you start, I said it doesn't really matter what kind of specific thing you do, but that is not the case for starting a gaming YouTube channel, because there is definitely a strict hierarchy that you want to stick to. At the top, we have Minecraft, which should be obvious. Next, we have Fortnite, which has become a lot more popular recently as a result of certain cultural events. Then we have every other game because there isn't too much distinction between them at this level. And then last, we have Among Us. The reason you need to start a gaming YouTube channel is that you have to show colleges that you are digitally competent and can work your way around the internet, which is arguably the most important skill you can have in this day and age. Other social media don't have as much staying power, given that Twitch is under a bit of hot water at the moment, and things like TikTok don't have as long of a shelf life. There are a couple more niche ways you could go about this, like being a reaction channel, but being a gaming YouTuber is, from what I've experienced, the most effective way to sort of show off your abilities. Okay, next we have joining NSHSS. If you aren't aware, NSHSS stands for National Society of High School Scholars. And as you can see from the name alone, this is one of the most prestigious organizations that a high school student can join, which will show admissions officers that you are a cut above the rest. Basically, every high school student in the United States has heard of them, which shows just how well known and prestigious this is. Not everyone can join NSHSS, so you'll want to make sure that you're academically, up there. And if you're lucky, you'll get a letter in the mail inviting you to join. There are a lot of benefits to being a NSHSS scholar, which I won't go into right now, but being a part of NSHSS is 100% vital to getting into a top college. I'm pretty sure that this organization is not open to students outside the United States, which could be a reason why it is so difficult for international students to get into these top colleges. Following that, we have curing cancer. Of course, this has become more and more of a common activity in recent years, with everyone trying to cure cancer, but this is a surefire way to get into the college of your dreams. I don't think I have to explain why curing cancer is a good activity to have for your college applications, so I'll just leave it to you guys to get on it. It might seem a bit challenging trying to figure out where to even start with this, but there are definitely plenty of resources online that can help you get started. So if you plan on entering a STEM field, especially something related with biology, you need to have this on your resume. Otherwise, admissions officers may think that you're not super serious about pursuing this field of study. And this brings us to the last activity on the list, which is being rich. I would argue that this is the most important activity to have because it makes all of the other activities a lot easier to get into. I know this is a bit difficult for a lot of people, especially considering all the potential downsides, such as but having this activity will show your colleges that you are an elite and that you will be able to make significant contributions to their institution in a number of different ways, which is what college is all about in the first place. And being rich opens you up to a lot of opportunities that you wouldn't normally have access to in the first place. So I highly recommend getting started on this. And with that, hopefully you guys now know of 7 guaranteed ways of getting into your dream college. So good luck to all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Just kidding. If you couldn't already tell, this is an April Fool's video, which means that this was all a joke, and I obviously didn't mean any of the things I said here. There is no guaranteed way of getting into your dream college, besides maybe if you actually did cure cancer. But besides that, there is no one path you need to take because everyone's journey to college looks different. But if you do want some real help on that journey, I have a backlog of videos on this channel and my other channel, all focused on giving actual advice to help you through the college application process. So feel free to check that out if you think it'll be helpful. Just want to be clear again, this video is a joke. I didn't mean anything I said here. It's just an April Fool's prank. This is not real advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Just want to make that clear. Okay, bye.